Good versus bad, good versus evil habits. Evil habits versus angelic habits. Where does this notion of good and bad habits come from? You know, our body-mind, our brain, doesn't tag them, doesn't sort them via good and bad, evil and angelic, or whatever other judgment you care to place on them. Your reaction to, your evaluation of the results that your body-mind creates is far less relevant than what you want to do instead when we're talking about creating change. Yeah? How do you change a good habit? Same way you change a bad habit. How do you change a bad habit? Same way you change a good one. It has nothing to do with your judgment. Now, here's the kick in the bum. All of that judgment that you're doing of these behaviors, which, by the way, the behaviors themselves are completely innocent. They're completely innocent. Your body-mind is just trying to keep you safe, just trying to get through life. And so we're either adapting to situations and pulling something up from the past that we tried before that worked in another place, and so hopefully it'll work this time. Or, maybe we're trying something we saw someone else do and it worked once, and so our body-mind, in the absence of explicit direction, will try that again and again and again. That's like people who get used to flicking on Tinder, thinking that relationships are just like ordering a pizza, and then wondering why they have problems with their relationships or can't sustain one. Yeah? A relationship isn't like ordering a pizza. It's not what you get or what gets delivered to your door. It's a different kind of situation. In thinking about and making some behaviors bad and some behaviors good, rather than this is how you've learned to adjust or adapt, this is a purpose from some other context that you're trying here, but it's not working, and you want something different. You want something more enjoyable. You want something easier. You want something better. You have to ask, what is that? What do you want instead? You see, all you've got are the results. All you've got are the results of those behaviors. So if you don't like the results of what you're doing, then you need to think about what kind of results you want to create instead. I hope that makes sense. That is the beginning of change. That is the beginning of dealing with behaviors, whether we're talking about bad ones or making good ones better. We have to give a direction. See, if you don't learn to direct the robot, as it were, that's the kind of the portions of you that are outside of your awareness, those bits that just run on autopilot, and that's everything from the things that beat your heart and keep you breathing, to those habits that you just picked up at various points along the way in order to deal with life, crossing the street without being hit by a car, all those kind of things. If you don't guide those behaviors, then you're stuck with whatever comes up. If you're not willing to take a look, if you're not willing to see the results that you're creating as they are, it's going to be tough. Now, we got a little complication in that for the past 100 years, there's all these different psychologies and theories and methods and techniques and all the rest of this coming up with abstract descriptions of what's going on. And so, people will even start talking about behaviors as if they have personalities of their own. And in that case, you're in a pretty tough spot because, that's either like spirits in Booga Booga, or there's more than one person inside of you. Sometimes when people come to me with problems and they try and tell me what the problem is, they use this kind of personal development speak, psychological Jungian bullshit. And with the greatest respect, Jung had fantastic ideas, and I've met more than a few people who have abused his ideas and turned them into a religion. So the person sits in front of me and tries to come up with a description of what's going on, and they're just talking up in the air, and not what do I want and where am I? If your religion says that you have to talk to the spirits and that there's a whole bunch of sacrifices and payments that have to be made to the spirits before you're allowed to change, and you believe that, it's going to make even the simplest of changes very complicated. Change is not complicated. Change is not difficult. It's a part of how human beings work. It's a part of how you work. It's a part of how you got to where you are now. It's just that in some parts of your life or in some parts of what's going on, you either bought into somebody else's weird descriptions and are like living in this kind of weird psychological fantasy realm rather than, here's the result I'm getting. I don't like this. What do I want that's different from this? What do I want to do differently? What do I want to enjoy that's different from this? How could that occur? What has to happen? Stop doing this, start doing that. This is the beginning of change. It's not complicated. What it does require is the sacrifice of these narratives and these stories and these things that you've created in yourself in order to make sense out of the world and in order to try and, bring things together that's something other than the simple behaviors and the simple things that one can do in order to create change. In a sense, when we're talking about changing bad behaviors, the first behavior to change that's bad is calling your behaviors bad or good. Stop looking out into the stars or into some subtle space or into weird theories in order to explain why you don't put the toilet seat down when you're done. If the toilet seat going down is the problem, not putting the toilet seat down is the problem, then the state you're looking to create is every time you use the toilet, put the seat down. Then you can ask the simple question, what has to happen in order for that to occur? What do I need to do different? And what kind of support has to be brought in order for that to occur? And not what happened when I was an infant and I wasn't given enough hugs and therefore I've got some kind of a, desire to harm all women by leaving the toilet seat up or whatever. Abandon the explanations. Start thinking about what you want instead and the simplicity of it. Most people, the reason why some people have trouble with change is because they never actually try the straight line and the simplest method. There's an endless number of techniques that you can bring to bear on these things. All different philosophies, all different kinds of ideas. But until you have those foundations, the fundamentals sorted, which is, what do I want instead? What has to happen in order for that to occur? You're going to be spinning your wheels. My prayer is that you stop spinning your wheels. Have you had enough of doing stuff that doesn't work? Stop spinning your wheels. Start thinking about if it can be physically accomplished in this world, if somebody else has done it, that all that has to be determined is what has to happen for you in order for that to occur. Everything else is story. Everything else is weird religion that, you've somehow picked up, acquired, or bought into somewhere along the line. Yeah? What's fantastic is watching people change so quickly when they drop the story. It's really easy to do. Drop the story. Start figuring out what you want instead. That's a really good beginning.